Welcome to the Matt Beck Podcast. Woke up this way. He's got a lot of cool stuff he's gonna show you today. The latest news, industry topics, and business tips. For all hairstylists and salon owners, it's time to flip the script. Grab your precision scissors, barber combs, and swivel twist razors. Let's cut a bob, a quick shag, pixie cut with a little bit of flavor. Check out the live classes, product reviews, let's rock on. Don't forget to check out freesaloneducation.com. I woke up this way. It's gonna be a great day. Chop it, clip it, spray
What's
it,
up, guys?
flip it. I woke up this way.
Welcome to the show. Super excited to be here again live this week. We're on episode number 10. So consistently working our way towards 11, right? So today I've got a good friend, Ryan Teal, on the show. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, how's it going? I'm hearing two types of audio going on, actually.
Yeah, are you hearing maybe do you have the link up on your computer? That could be it. That's probably what it is. So all you have to do is find the YouTube. You probably hit the YouTube link earlier and see if you can get that shut off.
Mm-hmm.
So is that
on
working?
the YouTube link?
Yeah.
Okay, let me double. Okay.
As Ryan's getting that ready, I can see you guys in the chat, so thank you for that. Make sure that you are sharing this podcast, or whatever it is. It's not a podcast. It's a live show. Oh, we lost Ryan. There he is. He's back. Is it working or no?
Nah.
So what do you hear? Echo?
Yeah.
Okay.
From like 2 minutes, like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's playing somewhere on your computer. And he's gone again. What's up, guys? Why don't you just start talking in the chat, and I'll get Ryan going here. Let me, I'm going to swap over. We'll get Ryan set up. I can see him over here if he comes back. Yeah, he went out, so he'll come back in. So let's get the show going. How are you guys? I see you. I see you guys all on. I see Carrie, Sandra, Julie, Darkstar, Ashley, Adrienne. So what's up, guys? Where are you watching from? Happy Monday. Excited to get this show started. We're gonna have a little bit of a thick hair theme today. So we're gonna be sharing a video with Ryan Teal. And then hopefully he'll be on here to answer some of those questions. We've literally been chatting and had no issues for like the last half an hour. So it's a bummer that he's hearing that echo, but we'll get it figured out. Cool. Love seeing it. All you guys have to do is just share the show. Share it for me so that we can get a lot of people on here watching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll Ryan's video in a second. Before I do that, I want to encourage you guys to download the FSE Now app that is available. We got a ton of new stuff coming up, so I'm going to play the app video for you. Go download the app as soon as this show is over. But here it is. Check it out. Ryan's back.
I'm here.
Is it sound better now?
Oh, much better. I thought I was having a seizure.
All right, good. You know, we didn't call this show Manic Monday for nothing. So something had to happen, you know. So what's up, Ryan? Yeah. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been too long. You know, Ryan was back in the studio. When was that? Probably a year and a half ago, maybe even
a year and a half ago, I think. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a blast.
I didn't have as much of a beard then.
No, you didn't. And you guys are going to see that in the video that we play. So, like I said, today we're going to have like a thick hair kind of theme of the show, just cutting thick hair. Ryan did a cool technique back in a year and a half ago in the studio. So I can't wait to share that video with you guys. And then he'll take some questions from you guys as well. And Ryan's been, I mean, those are the people that don't know you that are on this show here. You know, you've done it all. Like, you've literally had every job in the beauty industry. So
I've been fired from most.
So what is what my question to you would be, which is your favorite job so far that you've done?
You know, I think that what I love the most is kind of what I've been doing the last, say, 5 or 6 years. I was never really good behind the chair. I mean, I miss it. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I stopped working behind the chair and I was like just educating hairdressers.
Yeah.
And I did miss being behind the chair. I do miss the clientele, but what I love the most is really working with hairdressers and, you know, either coaching or, you know, one-on-one hair education and stuff like that. I mean, that's really been my favorite. And that's what, you know, I love the hairdresser more than I love clients. I always say that there's only 2 types of people I like. It's hairdressers and bartenders, and everybody else I really just don't care about what they do for a living. You know?
I like it. Yeah. Very good. All right, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll through this technique. It's 15 minutes long. So, I mean, obviously, if can you see the chat, Ryan, anywhere? I'll feed you the questions.
I can. It just says, yeah, okay, cool. That's the best, yeah.
Yeah, I'll feed you some questions, but if you can see it too, that's cool. But we're going to
cool.
roll the video, and, you know, you guys can learn for a bit, and then we're going to come back and hang out with Ryan right after. So here it is. What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I have a special guest, Ryan Teal. Ryan Teal has a YouTube channel called Hairdressing. Wait, can we just talk about this real quick? This is the best part about playing these videos. Like, I remember this video, but I haven't previewed it yet. And for all of you guys watching, we look younger. Or I look a lot healthier. I look healthier and younger in this. I wasn't ready for that intro. All right, let's continue this.
I look like Father Time now, so you know I feel like really old.
Yeah, your beard was super red then.
Right. It was
all right. Here it is, guys. Going back. According to me. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. The link is in the description below, so go subscribe to him. Also, he did a haircut for you guys for the Free Salon Education channel. So hope you guys enjoy it. Ryan, what did you do?
Man, I had a great time. It was fun coming in and doing this, and thank you very much for having me. This haircut is all for that woman with huge hair, who I like to call Chewbacca. All she ever wants is, she just wants the hair, instead of going straight out like this, like she usually does, she always has to grow the hair out long. All she ever wants, though, is she wants a cute little bob. But she can't have that because God gave her so much hair. So what we did was we did a really quick little haircut where I did what I call pleating, and I did 2 disconnections, so one in the basement and then one what I call the main floor, and I just folded over, cut it, and laid it down, and then laid the disconnection over the top of that. And what that does is it compresses that big hair of life ponytail from here to there and then to there. So really what I did was I took that ponytail and then just cut it off by 2/3 almost. So when she goes and brushes it out, or when she styles it or dries it, it's gonna dry in 2/3 less time. And then through the roof, I did a really quick little technique, which we used to call volumetrics, and we bring it over the top, and I show you 3 different ways to cut it, but we do like a quick little increased layer that goes from short to long. It's a super easy haircut, and you could use it tomorrow, you know, behind the chair.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. I've seen the comments over and over again. You want to see haircut for thick hair. So this is the one. Hope you guys enjoy it. We're gonna get started with the step-by-step. Here we go.
So it's important to start with the foundation of this haircut. So I'm going to cut this all in a 1E because really the whole haircut has to do with the interior of the hair. So when we usually cut the foundation, we usually cut with our fingers, you know, holding the hair, and we see a line like that. We see the top of our fingers, and that gives us that straight line. When in reality, if you use a comb, you can see what is truly straight. You see that the green comb is straight and horizontal, where the black comb is actually diagonal, and it's going to make it long on the right-hand side as opposed to the left-hand side. So it'll be a cricket haircut. So let's just go ahead and bring our comb straight down. with very little tension. And I'm going to use a 7-inch scissor to maintain balance and make sure that I'm cutting a nice straight line. And if you notice that when I'm cutting, I'm doing kind of a sewing machine effect. So I'm inserting the scissor and then pulling out as I cut. And the reason why is it is a Japanese scissor. So Japanese scissors are meant to push hair away from the blade. So if you pull back just slightly, you'll be able to maintain a nice even cut and pull all that hair back into your cutting line. So just working right over the ear, making sure there's no tension on that length. So now we're going to start, we're going to separate the hair from the front to the back at indentation, and then I'm going to go down into what I call the basement, or some people call the occipital or the nape. And for now, I'm just going to section that front out by braiding it really quickly just to keep it nice and orderly and tidy. And my hands move really fast when I braid. You should try and see if you can move your hands that fast as well. So now I'm in my basement, sectioning all the rest of the hair away. And I'm going to take a profile parting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a profile parting and I'm going to lift that hair straight up. Now tell me, is it you and me forever, or is it just a hit and run? So right up against that scalp, straight up against that scalp, I'm looking for the length. There's my length guide right there. So that is the length. I can cut everything else out legally. So there I am going to cut that length or that width out. So when I drop it, if I take a cross section of hair, I'll see that I get a mirrored representation of the nape. Since the nape curves in like that, it'll curve out like that in the back, giving us width, but getting rid of all of that weight in that basement. So I'm going to do it again on the side. I'm going to cut it square. Again, straight up. Now tell me, is it you and me forever? That is a Paula Abdul reference. And cut. Going to pass the Ducci upon the left-hand side and cut the other side. Elbow up to give me my protractor or my angle. And cut. Now this is very, very important. You need to braid out your disconnection. That disconnection must be braided because you do not want it to touch anything else on that hair. You do not want it to get involved in any of the other floors of your haircut because you will cut a major hole that is unrepairable. So let's go ahead and cut into our main floor. So I'm sectioning out that roof. And I'm sectioning the main floor, leaving the main floor down, and you can see that I'm just clipping out of the way that whole top of the head. Some people call it above parietal. Combing, making sure everything is nice and tidy. Giving it a little twirl and a clip. I'm going to go back into that main floor. So she has a whole lot of hair. So I'm going to put a second pleat in. I'm going to start at profile again. And if you look, I'm really cutting. So that's when I cut my length. All I'm doing is keeping my hand as if I'm shifting that hair straight up to cut my length just high. So I'm taking a horizontal parting, but I'm holding it vertical. There's my length guide, the same length guide that I had from down below. There's my length guide and cut. So now that length is going to hang over that basement and collapse that hair. So as Chewbacca's hair starts to take off because of the layering, the weight is going to make it lay back down. So that's what's going to keep her hair straight up and down, or like vertical hair. So I'm going to over direct back into a square. So square layers, or square graduation, if you will. Straight up again. Looking for my guide and cut. Straight up. Now tell me, is it you and me forever? And cut. So now I'm going to go ahead and braid that main floor out of the way. Just because I do not want that to get involved on any other part of the haircut. Now, through the front, I want to maintain a little bit of weight through the front. So when I pleat it, I'm going to pleat it back towards the upper left-hand side. So I'm going to try and pull away from what I want to keep. I'm looking for the length guide again. Same thing I did on the side, and cut. So I want to keep the weight there. So I'm just going to pull away from what I want to keep. So I want to pull away from that hair right in front of the chin. I'm then going to braid that hair out of the way. And I use a braid because that secures it a lot safer than just a clip. So it's like safe hair cutting. And cut the other side, and then braid. I like to use precautionary tactics. So now through the roof, what we're going to do is I'm going to section her hair back where her part was, where I originally had her part. And I'm going to clip those clips out of the way, and I took a little clue right in the front of her hair. And that's going to give me where her shortest hair piece is, or the shortest layer is going to be. I'm going to pull the hair up over the top of the head, all the way over, right against that scalp. And I'm going to utilize the scalp or the skull to give me the curve of her layers, because we are going to cut like an increased layer. Now, there you are. I'm going to increase it from short to long. There it could be a flat layer, or I can do a a decreased layer as well. So coming over to the other side. Now, one thing that you want to remember is that what you do on the other side, that's going to be the shortest layer on your other side when it goes back home. So where you cut it, when I'm cutting the hair from the right-hand side and I pull it over to the left, where I cut it, it's going to hit on that same spot on the right-hand side. Combing it out, and we're going to see a really nice little face frame right underneath her chin, right where I want it to be. And do the same thing on the opposite side. You can see my clips protecting my hair so I don't get any of that hair involved, because I don't want, to cut a hole. There's my little clue. I'm going to come straight down. I'm going to increase it from short to long and cut. Come up over the top in the back as well. Catch a little bit from what I previously cut. And cut. And in reality, there you have it. That is essentially a 12-section increased layered haircut. And there it is cross-section. You can see that round, and that round of that shape is coming from the round of the skull. I have a really hard time cutting round shapes, but if you use the shape of the skull, you'll get a nice round shape. And there is the pleats working. There are two huge holes in the haircut that are very scary. So don't have your model do handstands with this haircut. But when her hair comes back, you can see all of that hair lay right over the top. So now let's go ahead and blow dry the hair using an ergo brush from my buddy Robert. And I'm just going to smooth it out quickly with an ergo brush or with a brush. I like to spray my hairspray, like a dry hairspray, on the brush as I work, because I feel like if you work hairspray in, you don't spray it on, you get the memory of the hairspray without any of the crunch. Just working that spray in. Making sure it gets nice and hot. So it smooths all of our ends and all of the little flyaways. You want to treat hair almost like shrink wrap. If you heat it up to get it in place and then you let it cool down, it'll keep it there all day. So through the roof, I'm going to pull all that hair forward. Back in my day, we used to teach our clients to flip your hair over. And when they did it, it looked like crap. But when we did it, it looked magically delicious. So I do the same thing, but they don't flip their hair over. They just pull all of their hair right in front of their face to get that root movement going forward. So when they push it back, it's going to have volume, but not super huge volume. Like she's from Texas. The bigger the hair, the closer to God. Up over the top, always reloading my brush with hairspray, straight up, and then twice, and then 3 times a lady. Heat it up. Give it a little tuck and a roll, and then drop it like it's hot. So once, twice, 3 times a lady. And then once it's all in place, I'll usually give it a little misting of hairspray. So now I want to show you my personalization techniques. When I personalize, I'm not just randomly personalizing. I'm trying to recolor the hair. So I was pointing out where the dark spots are. You want to hit the dark spots and make it lighter like the light spots. So you're actually recoloring the hair as a hair cutter. So there you have it. Dark, light, dark. You're not going to hit the light spots. You're only going to make the dark spots like the light spots. And I'm going to do a little technique I like to call slap cutting. I don't know the real name for it. If you know the real name for it, if you could just write it on a piece of paper and throw it away for me, that would be great. But we're just going to slide the scissor in, and then as I pull it out from the hair, the gravity shuts my blade, not my actual finger. So the gravity does all the work, or my wrist does all the work. My thumb doesn't move at all. So work all the way to the front, really, lightening that texture up. There you have it, dark and then light. And I could go in and do a deep parallel point cut, but that hair wants to bend over to the side. So it's a lot easier to do this little slap cutting technique for us. And there you have it again. That's the technique right there. It's very important to grow a really long beard while cutting as well. I mean, that will make you, if you don't have a long beard, you need to get a neck tattoo. That'll make you a better hair cutter as well. So I'm just going to go right around the back. You see where I want a texture. My elbows are up. That's giving me my cutting angle. Your cutting angle doesn't come from your wrist. Your cutting angle comes from your elbow. Your elbow becomes a protractor. You always want to have that elbow up or tilted, because that's going to give you that straight line. You just see me like adjusting my angle to cut it. Now I'm going to do a little technique that I like to call whittling, and I'm just going to leave my scissors in one spot. I'm going to pull the hair into my scissor. So I'm not finding a guide anymore. I'm pulling the hair into the scissor. I'm keeping the scissor in one position, and I'm just pulling all that hair into it. And so the scissor itself becomes its own guide. And I just open and close it in that one angle. The higher I hold that scissor, the more graduation I'm going to have, or eventually I'll get to layers. So I want to actually kind of etch out like a really cool little line there by keeping my scissors at that almost 45-degree angle. I am using a texturizing shear. It's like a medium tooth texturizing shear with a little bit of a rounded bottom, and that allows me to slip the hair out, or to slip that scissor out so it doesn't, get stuck or on you. And I do keep my hand right on top of my client's head. Just pushing it out of her face. I think it gives her kind of a cute little, like, almost like a modern day Jennifer Aniston look. Like Jennifer Aniston, like in Meet the Millers? There you have it. A quick little increased layered haircut. I hope you liked it.
All right, guys, so if you liked that cut, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Also, don't forget to go to Ryan's channel, Hairdressing According to Me, and subscribe there as well. The link is in the description. But here's the cut. Make sure you share this video with all of your hairdresser friends out there. And also, you're on Instagram, right?
I'm on Instagram as Ryan_Teal.
There you go.
Teal, like the color.
And all of his pictures are sideways. Go check it out.
Just like me.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.
See ya.
Oh, God. That's hilarious. Oh, funny stuff, Ryan. Funny stuff.
I think it would have been really funny if we could have talked over the top of it, almost like Mystery Science Theater the whole time.
I had that same thought the whole time, and it would only work with you though. like I can't have a different guest and really make that work. But with you, I love watching the chat, just people like blowing up and laughing, and it's fun because that never happens. So very cool, very cool. So there were a couple questions throughout the chat. Let me see if I can. So Nicole asked, "Where else?" I got a question. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, so since this whole Corona thing, let's go right back to the education. Since this whole Corona thing, Matt, have you put on regular pants?
Yeah, I wear the same exact outfit every day. Like I literally, I have 40 of the same T-shirt. I have 5 of the same pair of jeans, same shoes. I look the same every day. So yes.
Okay, because I haven't put pants on since I've been quarantined. So I'm sitting here like in my underwear talking to everybody, all your fans, and I feel so weird that I should go put pants on. So let's go ahead and talk about education.
I'm sure they're fine. Wait, did you see that? It was like Good Morning America or something, and they had the guy come on, and he's literally giving like the news, and you can see the white of his leg. Like he has a suit jacket. He has a suit jacket, and then a white leg just hanging out. They didn't crop it right. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So She says, Nicole's asking, where else do you do education?
I do education everywhere, pretty much. I mean, I could come to your salon. This last year, I kind of made a pretty brash generalization on social media actually really early this year, where I personally wasn't going. I don't want to charge for education anymore. I love your whole idea with free salon education, and so my whole thing now is I'm trying really hard not to have to charge anybody. That if I go into their salons or whatever, I would rather have a salon owner fly me in, pick up my flight and pick up my hotel, and then not charge them a day rate, just because I don't feel like I don't want to charge for education anymore. I'd rather charge a manufacturer for sponsorships as opposed to charging it. So to really answer the question, I could do it in your salon. I could do it anywhere across the country, and I haven't done anything since the quarantine, but I do it pretty much anywhere.
I feel like that's a good conversation to get into a little bit, because I obviously basically spend every day trying to figure out how to not charge hairdressers and how to charge manufacturers, and I think we grew up in the same kind of world in the industry of, like, we went out and did free classes for salons, but then manufacturers paid us to do that. And then there's a point when manufacturers kind of stopped doing that. And I think that it's a tricky world now, because now we got this influencer thing where manufacturers do pay people that have an audience, but at the same time, it's still a weird thing, because you have really talented educators like yourself that you have a pretty good following, actually, at this point. Like, you have a dedicated core audience, but a lot of people, there's talented educators out there that don't have an audience, and manufacturers won't pay them, but they'll pay somebody that has a huge audience that isn't great at teaching. And, we've talked about that before, and I don't want neither of us want to get into a conversation of like, this guy's not good and this guy's good, but it's a talent and a skill, and you saw it through that video. Talented educators can make great videos because you've been in the class and you've made those references to the music, to the songs, to all that stuff. So like, when I got into making videos, it wasn't hard because I already knew all the questions people were asking without them asking them. And you've done. How many classes did you teach over the last couple of years? Like,
last year I taught 500 classes last year, but the year before that was my record. I taught over 700 classes.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like I did 75 to 80 in a year, and I felt like that was insane. And I can't even imagine. Can't even imagine 700.
I love it though. It's my first love, and I would rather go without eating to teach. Like I should hold up like a little sign, like a hobo on the side of the road. We'll teach for food,
Right. Yeah, and that's cool. And that's something good for salons to understand. Like, you are willing, you're out there. Has anything changed on so that was a couple years ago. Is your YouTube the same now? Is it the same name?
It's changed. I believe, God, what is my YouTube now? It's
well, you got to get
Awesomer Hairdresser, I think. I know, totally. It's Awesomer Hairdresser because I have a whole Facebook group that's Awesomer Hairdressers Unite and Take Over, and then I have every day I put out my How to Be a More Awesomer Hairdresser, which is really just like self-help. But I come and tell people the things I'm working through, and then people say they like it, but really it's just my own like therapy, I think.
Well, and it's actually really fun to watch because I was talking to Andrew Does Hair the other day, and I said, there's 2 YouTube channels that that are hairdressers that I watch, and one of them is him and one of them is you, because I love me and my wife, we sit down and I try to catch up. Like, YouTube is my TV, so like at night I sit down and I look at all the people that I subscribe to, and I kind of just catch up on their content. And you're always on. You always pop up on there, and me and Christina are like, what's Ryan up to? How's he doing? And we can really tell like how you're doing through that, and it's cool.
Yeah. If I'm in an angry mood, I say a lot of cuss words.
But yeah, it's you know what? And that was one of the things that I saw in the chat a lot, is that you just seem like a real guy, and that's what I like about you, when the way you put yourself out there. is that you are. I mean, it's a true thing. Woody is asking, does the braid hold the section better? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it does. I like to hold the braid for a couple of reasons. We both have the same mentor. You talked to him not too long ago, or not maybe not mentor, but Robert Cromie's taught me a lot. But one thing that he also taught me too was, while sectioning, you should have everything look pretty, and braids really make it look pretty. But also, it's a very utilitarian thing as well, because I don't want to inadvertently grab any hair, and sometimes that clip isn't holding it firm enough. So if I braid it just a little bit, it really locks it down for me. So it's kind of twofold. One is utilitarian, and one just makes it look pretty.
Yeah, I like that. And that's totally the truth. We did kind of have that inspiration. A lot of sections were braided or put up with a chopstick or those kind of things instead of a clip. So I do think it goes into like when we teach things, we do that. All right, terrific. Let's see. Brenda said won't try to visualize. I'm guessing she's talking about your pants.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't want to visualize it either.
Ryan is hilarious. All right, cool. So I think we got pretty much, all the questions.
Sure.
How did I get away from watching Ryan? He is so cool. Yeah, go back and watch him. So
go back and watch me, yeah.
Kristen. So if you guys want, I would definitely go follow Ryan. Awesomer Hairdressers. Find it on YouTube and Instagram. Your Instagram everything used to be sideways. Now it's a video form where you put out these videos and you talk about, just things that are going on in your life and all of that. Start conversations. I know you've been doing these like happy hour things. How's that going?
Yeah,
good.
I love it. It's what happened was I've been invited to so many like Zoom meetings since this quarantine by manufacturers, and they're like, "Oh, let's do this, Zoom meeting," and then it just becomes a sales pitch the entire time. And so I'm like, I don't want to do sales pitch. I don't have anything I'm selling at all right now. I would rather just have a happy hour, just hang out with a few people. So I've been doing it through my Awesomer Hairdressers. Anybody can join that. If you do shameless self-promotion, I'll boot you off the group. But aside from that, it's mainly just a support group for a bunch of hairdressers. If you're a beauty school student or a hairdresser, the only thing is you have to be a hairdresser. And then every Friday night about happy hour, we get together, and for an hour and a half, I host a Zoom meeting, and we sit around and drink. And lately we've been putting together COVID-inspired cocktails. So like I made like a COVID teeny the other day, which was like Campari, orange juice, ice, vermouth, and dried gin. It was actually really quite nice. But somebody else like crushed up like cough drops and made simple syrup out of it. I'm like, that's brilliant. So last week we had I think 20 something people on there, and we do it every Friday. And actually everybody's like, we want to do it after the quarantine's over. We'll probably move it to a Monday then. Because people are just really enjoying just hanging out and not letting your hair down essentially, and you can cuss, you can talk about things that maybe not politically correct or politically correct within our industry. Like, we can talk trash about manufacturers if we want to. I try and keep it pretty like, I don't really get into bash talking so much anymore. I mean, I can with the rest of them. I just try not to.
Right.
But people are loving it, and they're asking if we could do it multiple times a week. I'm like, I really don't want to do it the one time a week, but once I get on, I love it. So if anybody wants to come, they're more than welcome to join. It's every Friday, 2:00 Pacific, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. All right. So you start early.
Yeah. Well, you should come on it too sometime, Matt. If you're not busy, you should come.
I have to.
Busy, but
I should. Yeah. We should definitely come on there because we've actually been. So one of the local bars you went to Triumph, I think, with me maybe, but
I loved it.
One of the bartenders from Triumph, they obviously got laid off of work and he's not working, so he started this socially distancing Facebook group, and where he makes cocktails and just shoots the shit with everybody, the whole time, and and then people Venmo tip him, and he teaches you how to make a drink, and it's just a fun, and he tells stories. Yeah, he tells stories, and it's actually grown. They just did a write-up about it on, in the local, news Facebook thing. So it's pretty cool. And it's just fun that like out of this whole thing, and we were talking about it, like this industry is going to be better than it was coming out of this for sure. And, you know, and it's just because people are able to have had time to think. I mean, that's like the biggest thing for me. Like I've had time to like really adjust my priorities and what is important. And do I really care how many manufacturers are on this thing? Or like, do I really care? Like I went from like trying to grow my Instagram like crazy. I was pumping out content and I wasn't even enjoying pumping it out because a lot of it was just recycled stuff. And I just kept but the numbers don't grow if you don't pump it out. Right. And like, I've gotten to the point where I'm literally losing followers on Instagram, but I just don't care because I know the core people, like the people that watch this show and the people like, I want to get back to that community, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that everybody's going to come out of this with a different head, a different mindset. And I know we were talking about that as well.
Yeah. I think that, you know, we're going to look back on this in 10 years. Now, I think that this is, you know, I mean, if the tragedy is horrible. I mean, like, you know, one person dying from it, it doesn't matter how many people died. That's horrible. I don't even want to get into that discussion because that's awful.
Right.
But I think that what's going to happen is 10 months from now, we're going to look back and, you know, maybe we'll be sitting at a bar, me and you, or like, you know, at a dinner party or whatnot, discussing all the things that came from this time period and, you know, and new relationships or relationships that died. There's going to be new apps that come out. You know, there's going to be new apps that come out. There's going to be great art. There's going to be great music. There's going to be great, you know, hairdressers, you know, within our industry. I mean, education is going to change exponentially. And, you know, we may never pay for education again, or, you know, it may stay the same, but, you know, something is going to come different. And I think that hands-on education is going to take off.